Hi, thanks for watching us. It's show 79. Excuse our small echo. We're being sabotaged. It's the 24th of September, 2023, and this is DJ Chris at TargetedWest.com. We'll be talking to Heather tonight. She's a patriot and poet, and she'll be coming on in just a moment. Just want to remind you that we are a peaceful group. We're not really that political. We're not violent or doing violent things. And the opinions of the person on the call is that of their own, and not that of Targeted West or DJ Chris. It's 6 p.m. I'm in beautiful Lodi, California, and it's 79 degrees. Hello, Heather. Come on in. How are you today?
Hi, Chris. I'm doing relatively okay for the situation.
Yeah, so I met you on Twitter, and you wanted to be interviewed, and you said you were targeted for 10 years.
After I became what they call a hard target, looking back, I realized my family was being targeted a lot longer than I thought, about 2014. I think it was probably because of Facebook posts I made, like, okay, so ISIS, when they started, I immediately was like, yeah, Magic ISIS, yeah, magically shows up to pull us back into the war. And it wasn't long after that I started having weird issues. My kids started having, like, hardcore crazy dreams, and, I started having odd dreams myself, like, way too realistic, and then, like, when you first wake up, I started seeing stuff, like, right when I first would wake up, like, still from the dream. But that subsided a little bit. I think they hit me with V2K in 2015, just messing. I think they were just messing with me a little bit, not a lot. I didn't really start getting messed with. Like, gang stalking and stuff started pretty heavily when I left Hemet and moved to Victorville, California, and started going on Q Research Board. I found it on Twitter under the Q Anon, hashtag. I got into it pretty quickly. I was like, these guys are pretty much saying things I've known for like years, like 15 years at this point. I was a 9/11 truther. So I think I already probably was on lists. You know what I mean? Because of things like that. But the real crazy stuff started spring, summer of 2022. Prior to that, I had weird instances, like weird feelings, emotions brought on. Felt like I was getting pushed to stay on Q Research, even though I should have left, you know what I mean, way earlier. But the aspect that was creepiest to me was the perversion. That was first and foremost. And that went on, I would say, a couple of years prior. And so what happened was during the trucker protest that happened during 2022, I was pretty big, proponent of that. I was like, yes, go for your freedom, truckers, you know what I mean? And I had a dream one night, and it was like a movie playing in my head, like a literal movie, and it was not very good. And I woke up the next morning and said, oh, someone's been in my mind. I know it. And that's when things got really bad. I took my kids to the beach a couple times down in San Diego and La Jolla, and I was followed. And this was for my son's graduation. And I was sitting in a hotel room. The kids were out swimming, and someone broke through my phone and said some very perverted things. And I turned off my phone immediately. And I was like, okay, that was gross. And And then we went to dinner a little later. There was a guy sitting in the restaurant we chose. It was in walking distance of our hotel. And he was sitting there with a little computer in this little taco shop in La Jolla. And we were just down the street from the Best Western. And he like two people, a married couple walked in. He did this whole spiel about, oh, this is what I want to get married, yada, yada. And I knew he was talking towards me. And that's kind of when I realized that there was an operation that had been being talked about on Q Research right in front of my face called Operation Heartbreak. I believe, and you can look up Operation Heartbreak on Q Research yourself anytime, and you'll find multiple of their posts. I was their target for that. I think they were going to try to get me to leave my husband on the belief that some internet guy wanted me or something. And no. I've been with my husband since I was 18. That's just not happening. You know, that's when I started looking back, you know, like, okay, something was going on with Q Research for sure. They were using that as a, like, right in front of my face, and I didn't realize it. You know, so I'm going to fast forward a little bit. End of July, it was pretty awful. That's when I was sitting in my room, and I was thinking out loud. You know, I was thinking to myself, my mind is one of those people. I'm one of those people. My mind goes a million miles a minute. I'm on all kinds of subjects, and so I'm sitting there thinking, and I hear my thoughts audibly out on my golf course. Like where I lived in Victorville was on a golf course. And I'm thinking, how the hell did I just hear my thoughts and my voice come from the golf course right now? And prior to that, just real quick, I had heard for a couple of months guys in a house directly across from mine constantly commenting on me every time I was out in the pool. And you could hear them, that was their voices for sure talking. So I believe those people were involved somehow. I know they bring neighbors in now. I didn't know that at the time. So, I mean, can you imagine what that's like, hearing your own thoughts, your own
Yeah,
voice?
I've had it. It's wild.
Yeah, it blew my mind. And it wasn't long, a few days after that, I was getting hit hard by dudes, and I mean hard. I thought I was going to die.
Were they hitting you all over your body?
Yes, I mean, it was top down. And so I got in the shower, and I was like, I was having to go hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. And the whole time I had my window open, I could hear 3 guys outside on the golf course commenting about my body, what was going on in my spine. Like they could see me with some kind of x-ray. And they were like, oh, look at her back, man, it's all messed up. Oh, no wonder she's having this kind of trouble and stuff like that. And I was like, what the hell is going on? And I was like freaking out. I was like, okay, this is too much. And the hearing my voice thing, I was like, okay, I'm going to leave my house. I'm going to take my kids and my mom. We're going to leave for a few days and see. I wanted to see if it followed me or if it was just at the house. I wanted to check my own mentality. So, you know, little did I know I was being pushed, actually. So, you know, I took my kids and my mom. We went to Las Vegas. And in Vegas, I was surrounded by people constantly, like at least 3, if not 4, with cell phones the whole time I was there. And I was, same thing, hit. I didn't hear my voice anymore, my thoughts being parroted back to me in my own voice, but I felt like I was being electrocuted at times. I mean, it was gnarly, same thing, you know, so I kept taking showers and stuff, and I was like, you know, they finally subsided it, I think because they wanted me to go down to the floor, which I did. I went down to the floor. I was like, I'm going to have a beer, I'm going to play some games, I'm going to try to forget about what the hell's going on right now. I got a beer. I ordered one from the waitress. She gave me the beer, I took one sip, and I got way too buzzed. And I was like, okay, one sip of light beer is not going to make me feel like this. So I threw and I watched the waitress. She handed me the beer, turned around, walked over to the security guard, high-fived him, and walked right back into the kitchen. And I went, oh shit, and dropped it, because I was like, I know human traffickers and stuff are all over the place out there. So I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on. Nope. And I kept feeling worse and worse and worse. So I ended up asking security. This was at the Stratosphere. I was like, okay, I'm having a hard time here. I drank a beer. So I think somebody's put something in it. They call an ambulance. Ambulance shows up. I get into the ambulance, and the ambulance driver, one of them straight looks at me and goes, yeah, so do you feel like signals are hitting you all the time? Or I don't even know what he's talking about. I'm like, what are you talking about? I just got drugged, jerk. You know what I mean? Like, no, I don't want to go to the hospital. Let me out of this ambulance. I want to go back inside. And it was like, it was such a bad experience. I bought shoes. Something hit me in my shoe. I think they tried to poison me there. Like, my whole foot swole up. And
was it your left foot?
Actually, it was my right.
Okay.
Yeah, thank God, I think. And I don't know what it was, but it made every vein in my foot, like, pop out hardcore. And I was like, oh, my God, oh, my God. And I was like, we need to leave, right? So I grabbed my family, and they're already thinking, what the hell's going on? She sounds like she's losing it, which is apparently the point of what they do. So I'm like, okay, we're leaving, and this was Saturday night. We got there Friday night, and I was like, I don't care if we have till the morning. We're leaving now. So we all packed up, got in the car, and no shit, we're leaving Vegas, and the whole freeway is empty. And I'm like, what the hell is the freeway empty for? So we're driving, and I get to a point, and on either side of the freeway, there's like 50 cops on either side with their lights off. And I was hit hard with dudes there and the whole way home to Victorville. I was like trying to use pillows. I was trying to do anything I could while driving my entire family home. So I got home, and we get inside, and I knew someone had already been there. My house smelled like chemicals. I mean, bad. And I was like, God, what the hell's in my house, Somebody's been in here. So I even called the police that night and was like, come check my attic, make sure nobody's in my house. You know what I mean? Somebody's broken in here. So they did that. And
that's very common. Like, that's a get in your head.
Yeah, I guess this is the beginning of whatever crazy was going on. And so, right then and there, I started feeling like, I don't know what else to put it, like amped up. I didn't sleep for like 2 days. I think they put like some kind of methamphetamine in my house. Or some
That's
kind of
very
chemical.
commonly used, yes. They probably did.
Yeah, so, that's when I felt like people were trying to literally take over my body. And it was I could feel the individual, like if it was a female or a male, and it was very odd, and they were like fucking with my head bad, excuse my language. They were messing with my head big time, and I think, I ended up having an accidental discharge of my weapon. They actually, whatever they were doing, my husband called it an electronic fence, is what they put in, They utilize the electricity in your home, and it felt like they had convinced me that someone was in my garage and fucking with me, and I ended up having an accidental discharge of my weapon, and it went through the wall of my garage, through my vehicle, and into another person's vehicle. And the next day, the cops were called. I don't even know how, because the guy that lived across the street from me was like, nah, we'll settle it out of court, no big deal. Just pay for my door. And I was like, yeah, okay. But the cops still came, and were like, no, you have to go on a 72-hour hold, like forced me into it. And I was like, okay, fine. And, you know, so the guy was like, okay, you know, and I told him I'm not feeling good, you know. So they took me to the Victor Valley Hospital. And ambulance gets there, and there's two drivers. One was Hispanic, the other one was a white guy. They were tattooed a little too much, you know what I mean? So they have me in the ambulance, and they put oxygen on me, and they're driving me there, and the guy's like doing his work, and he cut my finger with something, and I started going downhill fast. By the time I got to the hospital, I thought I was going to die. Whatever he had cut me with, I don't know if he used the ring on his finger did it or what, but I'm pretty sure they hit me with some kind of chemical or poison or something. I don't know. You know, and then they took me in the back. A lady nurse gave me something. I started feeling better. Doctor came and asked me a few questions like, hey, how are you feeling? Basic questions. Do you want to kill yourself or anyone else? Yada, yada. And I'm like, no, of course not. And he's like, okay, cool, you're good to go. Hands me my paperwork, sends me on my merry way. And I go outside, and I'm like, okay, where are the police? I thought I was going to a 72-hour hold, right? So I'm sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. No one showed up. So I walked home. I said, screw it. Even though it's 5 miles and 115 degrees, I walked home. I got home, and my sister-in-law was there, and they're like, what are you doing here? I thought you were on a 72-hour hold. And I'm like, no one was there. They released me from the hospital, and no one was there. Cop shows us back up, and I'm like, here's the paperwork. They let me go. And he's like, no, I thought we weren't going to have any trouble. And I'm like, what trouble? You guys left me there. You never showed back up. You know, you're the trouble. And he just grabbed me, put me in handcuffs, you know, drove me to the police station, left me in the car for an hour, dragged me in the police station. And at the time I was hearing things like, I even heard what I thought the police were saying, that they were going to rape me back there, but with the V2K and stuff, I can't be sure that they were the ones actually saying that kind of thing, or if I was just being fucked with. Excuse my language. So finally 2 women from San Bernardino County showed up, took me to the mental hospital, Arrowhead Regional Medical Center. I was hit hard the whole time I was there. Guard got caught raping one of the patients. Same guard that had looked at my naked breasts while I was when I first got there. That hospital was a cesspool, and that's when I realized that they were using that hospital and the mental patients there as a test subjects. You know, who's going to believe people that are mental?
That's true.
Yeah, and it was bad. I feared for myself and the women that were there. One night I fell asleep. I woke up the next morning with a needle mark in my arm, and I felt a weird lump in my sinus cavity on my right side. It was scary. It was a terrifying experience. When I got downstairs, finally, they had me in a holding area for days. It was actually more scary. You know, there was a lot of crazy stuff in that hospital. I'm not even sure what all happened there. So, you know, I got out. They were like, you're not, you know, 5150, we're going to let you go. I was like, yeah, good. They got me a taxi. I got home and was like, okay, that's it. We're leaving. I don't want to stay here anymore. We're moving. And I got a hold of my uncle and was like, can we come to Alabama? And, you know, packed my stuff up and, you know, and I mean under assault, screaming at me, you know, oh, we wanted all your stuff. Why are you taking all the good stuff? I mean, crazy stuff that was being screamed at me. And I was raped in my home 2 days before we left.
Oh my, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, this is very sex and death in nature.
Yes, and the person who did that like wanted me to know. I passed out, fully clothed, woke up the next morning, and my underwear were on the floor. But I had my pants back on, and my keys, I have the electronic keys for the vehicle, but it separates so you can do a key lock. Well, that had been taken apart and set right by, right on the thing on my couch.
Do you know this reads just like John Hall's book or A New Breed book?
No.
Do you know what you're telling me right now is exactly what John Hall wrote in his book. I recommend that book to you. You'll be shocked.
Are you kidding me? I've never.
I'm not kidding you. They take washers and dryers apart. One lady in California, they took her safe apart but never took the ingredients out.
Okay, that's crazy. So, yeah, it got more crazy.
Get in your head. They just want to get in your head and make you think that they're in control when they're not.
Oh yeah, so I think that's when they got the idea, like, oh, we're going to chase her across the United States and do like a, that movie, The Hunt, where they go after the Trump, obvious Trump supporters, Republican types, and it's a bunch of elite rich people. I haven't got to see the whole movie. I've seen like the clips and stuff for it, but that's kind of how it felt.
So they followed you to Alabama?
Oh yeah, as soon as I left California, I got to Arizona, and they were like, the whole time that was one thing, they were like, get out of the house, leave California, and never come back. And they nicknamed me Antarctica. They didn't even use my name. They just kept going, and Antarctica, get out of this freaking state. You're not welcome here. Blah blah blah. Get out of my house. It's my house. Like that kind of stuff.
Right.
I was like, fine, I'm leaving. So, and I was convinced if I get away from California in the western part of the United States, I should be all right. Now, that's kind of
No. It could go around the world and it'll follow you.
Oh, yeah. So, well, I wasn't familiar with, like, I had heard about targeted individuals and things like that, but I was like, oh, those people, maybe some of them are right, but others are probably, crazy. I didn't actually believe in a lot of it until it happened to me, which I think is a lot of people.
Yeah, and you did what I did. I was against George Bush for going to Iraq, and I kept talking about it quite liberally in Yahoo chat in the early days of the internet. So that's probably how I got caught.
Yeah, whatreallyhappened.com. I was like big on that on the forum. Talking to expats and people who were very much opposed to the 9/11 lies and things like that. I think that's how
they came up with the Patriot Act they had on the shelf, and they're still using it, and they're still got 702, which is that, and they still are in a state of emergency since 9/11. They keep redoing it every year.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly what that entire thing that happened with 9/11 is. What's going on right now is a direct result.
Yes, because we have no rights. They're all put on pause.
That's right, and suspending posse comitatus, things like that. And these are things that I talked about myself online. That's how I know I got targeted a long time ago, because I was like, you guys need to start paying attention. Like, people, you need to wake up. This shit's getting real.
There are military people on the street, from what I've heard.
They go after
and that's against that rule too. So, but they worked a way around it by also militarizing the police.
Well, they go after the cops too. There's cops they go after. I mean,
I have heard that. Yes, the police get attacked too.
Oh, they do. There's no one who is what I would say safe from this program. You look at the incidents of veteran suicide and an officer suicide, and you've got to wonder, were they being targeted by this kind of program? because they wouldn't go along with their gangster mentality. And the same thing with private security, like the security and intelligence specialists, people like that.
SIS, Brian Costin talked about.
Yeah. I've recently been learning about the fact that they have private contractors that do a lot of this stuff, and it's terrifying. It's because who they're not accountable to anyone. They're not even, you know what I mean? They're hired guns.
Well, that's how you keep from getting in trouble. You outsource it, make them the guilty party, then you blame it on them. Oh, it wasn't the government; it was them. They were rogue.
Exactly, and then I'm like, you guys have a target on your backs too, so, because
they do. And most of the V2K I have tell me they're criminals that got a deal to get out of prison early to do this to me.
Oh, I've had similar. I had them literally chase me across the whole United States, stay in hotels around me, not only messing with me, but like drug addicts. They really like drug addicts and alcoholics because they're easy to take over, essentially.
That's what we talked about with Andrew on my last call, yes. Because I had a relapse of drugs and he did, and that's how we got targeted, because we were up all night and they looked through the roofs with X-ray.
Oh yeah, they love tweakers.
Yeah, unfortunately I was in that category for a short time.
I did that as a youth. I had my moments with it, and a lot of people, especially 90s kids, had their moments with that crap.
Yes, and 80s for me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. For me, it was like when I was a teenager, just like a lot of teenagers, you experiment with stuff. So it's awful that they choose to do things like they do. Watching them take over other people was actually probably more horrific than their attempts to take me over and control my body.
Do you think they take over your neighbors and family?
Oh, I know they do. That's how they kind of need to, because if you have a loving family and people who care about you, friends and family, well, they can't isolate you without taking them over and making sure that's how they make sure people get isolated. They may have just recently started talking about this stuff. I watched a talk from some professor, I can't remember his name right now, at West Point, and he describes
Giordano.
Yeah, he describes exactly what I'm talking about, the ability to take over people's bodies.
Yes, he says the mind is the new warscape, the new war theater. Yes, the mind is. Yes. Yeah, I know. You were talking about ISIS, and you upset the military. And that's how this happened. Yeah, and Bin Laden was friends with Don Rumsfeld and that whole gang, and then he turned into Al Qaeda. So yeah, a lot of ISIS was actually funded by the CIA. So you're probably pissing the CIA off.
Oh, I came up with my own nickname for ISIS. It was International Spies Instigating Shit. No joke. That's probably...
Yeah, they make them sound like the big criminals when in fact it's, a front.
Oh, yeah, of course. It's all, an excuse to get shit started in other countries.
Yep, and take our rights away in the United States.
Oh, yeah, my dad, God rest his soul, he would always watch stuff going on in other countries, especially protests and stuff, and go, it's a clown show. It's a clown show. He was Air Force, military police. So he would know. He was stationed in Incirlik Base in Turkey, so he would have known.
I heard you have some poetry.
I do.
I'm sure you want to change the topic after going through, because that's traumatic having to retell your story.
Oh, I've retold it to myself multiple times just to make sure I keep it together. Because I want these people to not just to stop doing this to me, but to stop doing it to other people. My concern is that watching what's going on with the COVID agenda, the things that they're putting in the vaccines, things they're putting in the water and the food, which is no joke, that what is happening to people like you and me and us, the targeted individual community, is about to become the targeted everybody community.
Yeah, I always say everybody could be targeted. You're right.
No, and I think that's their ultimate goal with this technology. I mean, you've seen people at the WEF, and they're pretty blatant about mind hacking. That people, have no soul. They're going to be treated like soulless animals. Something my torturers like to say is that they call the animal farm, and they call people like me a dog, horse, someone to keep on a leash or to ride, things like that. It's horrific, because they don't care. They don't care about what's going on with people. They care about control, and I mean ultimate control.
It's money, power, and control.
Yeah, it does, and it ties into smart cities and using AI. That's why they're all about AI to control everything. AI plays big in the torture thing. A lot of the voices.
Yeah, most of my targeting is AI based.
Yes, same with me, and it's a lot of just storytelling and trying to keep your mind engaged.
Right, I call it the weapon. I call it the weapon of mass distraction.
It is,
and that could get you hurt. You could fall outside or something by having this forced dialogue in your head when you're busy.
Oh,
trying
yeah,
to gain, keep you free.
Oh,
they want you to fall and hurt yourself.
Oh, they do. They think that kind of stuff is funny.
Yeah, they laugh at you. I know. I've had it.
Oh yeah, they wanted me to, either die in a car wreck or, kill myself. That's a lot of it. Kill myself or kill your family and then kill yourself.
Right.
Like,
no. Funny you bring that up, because I would chant dark thoughts in the mornings when I get up, after those dreams that I'm having too, by the way. Those forced synthetic dreams are disgusting. They're all lucid and they're first player, like a game. And everything's distorted. People's faces aren't what they are. Things aren't exactly what they are. They're like a bad B movie. Is that what you experience?
Yes, it's literally they make avatars for themselves.
That's what, you and I are avatars in their movie,
Yes, and but that ties into DARPA's machine, where it's like they have a real world avatar of everyone inside of their.
They must, because it's amazing what they've done with my movies.
Oh, man, me too. They've made me look like a heroin addict, which I've never done that shit in my life. Like I shoot up, and I remember distinctly somebody had put a picture in my head of me in a park or some shit shooting up, and I'm like, man, I ain't never stuck a needle in my arm. Are you kidding me? Just crazy stuff, But that's the game they play. I found a common thread was they want you to go after your neighbor. Oh, that one.
By making the voices sound like they're coming from your neighbor. I know they use the directed sound and move it around.
I'm busy. I'm on the phone. What? Yep. So, anyways, it's a lot.
And they affected your kids, from what you told me.
Yeah.
That's terrible. I'm so sorry to hear that.
I had no idea. Yeah, it's something else to watch.
That must break your heart. I'm sorry.
On the way here, I mean, it was like completely different people I was talking to. And it's because it was.
Mom, can you please stop lying on your interview? Mom, can we have a talk now, actually?
That's how they do that.
We can't be doing this, Mom.
Okay, honey, I'll be out.
Mom, I'm being
We're almost done anyway. Actually, you have 6 minutes left.
Okay, well, so I'm about to read some poetry, so bye. Yes, honey, I know. That's what, yes. Schizophrenia. Paranoid schizophrenia is the new COVID outbreak in America and across the world. I like to call it that. This happens every time I try to talk about this. My kids seem to need to intervene. Or my mom or someone else. Okay, honey. Honey, after I am done, please. Okay, honey. Okay, look, I love you. I will talk to you in a moment, okay? So, I must be saying something somebody doesn't like. So,
yeah, they're controlling your kid.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened. Yes, I know. I have 2 cousins and myself who all broke out with this all at once.
Yeah, they labeled me as schizophrenic in 10 minutes at the ghetto clinic in Stockton.
Not me, Jack. I had those psychiatrists hopping, man. They were like, yes, ma'am, we are going to let you go. I was like, damn right you are. Your people shouldn't have kept asking me what my husband did in Antarctica, you freaking weirdos. That was the strangest part of that whole experience in that hospital was they wouldn't stop asking me what does your husband do in Antarctica? He's a welder.
Yeah, that's a simple thing. Why are they so concerned?
Exactly. Like nurses and doctors, why do you need to know exactly what my husband does in Antarctica? The man.
That's weird.
Yeah,
that's directed conversation in a weird direction.
Yes. It was a very odd experience.
Okay, well, now we're going to go to your poetry so we don't forget.
Okay. All right. So, thank you, though, for letting me read this. I'm going to start with my short one first. It's called My Lover. With this, my lover's embrace, I carry my love for him in this place. His tender caress, not with his hands, but with his eyes, unknown to the passerby, holding me intently in a place only lovers lie, beneath imagined starry skies. This is how the lover dies, holding that final breath before embracing my lover's death. And I mean it in a...
That's a good one.
Thank you. I don't mean like actual death. It's a euphemism.
Yeah, they say my doctor's dead, but he's not dead. What they mean, that's called Thanateros. It's a group of sex and death people. They're Illuminati, and they are part of my targeting, and that's their tone, the sex and death. Because Thanateros is, Thanatism is the study of death, and Eros is the study of sex, the sex goddess.
Right. Actually, I got the idea from a movie a long time ago, and it was talking about orgasms being a little death. And I was like, that's kind of a clever euphemism, but I was like 16 when I wrote that poem. And I've been writing poetry a very long time.
And you had a poetry piece about freedom and stuff I like. Do you have that?
Yes, it's called Evolution is Revolution. I don't read poetry the best, but I'll do the best I can. Open your eyes and ascertain the truth of our path on this earthly plane. This is a new era of the enlightened mind. We are soldiers of a different kind, a generation born to end all tyranny, abolishing thousands of years of hypocrisy. Witness the genesis of our revolution, culminated by spiritual evolution. Knowledge is power and truth is the key, to be liberated from false ideologies.
Very cool. We're going to switch to Q&A mode to people asking questions, so I'll unmute you in a moment. Okay, we're going to unmute you. Are you still there, Heather?
Yes.
Okay, well, Heather's available for questions. Does anybody have a question for Heather, please? Come on in.
Hi, Heather. This is Jax.
Jax?
I'm in the California area.
Hi.
And I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah.
When you talked about the voices of your mind played on the golf course,
Yes.
was that in your voice or was it someone else's?
No, yes, ma'am. It was my voice, it blew my mind because I was like, how are they? But I realized because you're on the phone a lot, or speaking in your home, they can record your voice easily and simulate it, and sync it up with your thoughts pretty easily.
Mhm. Yeah, that's something this is a new thing that I've heard about, hearing your thoughts. Is it like live? Was it live thoughts?
Oh, yeah, it was in real time.
Wow.
Was in real time. Wow. That's what blew my mind. And that's how I knew it wasn't me having a mental break, was when I left the house.
Oh, your audio died, Heather.
Okay.
There she is. She's back. There you are.
Yeah, they're trying to mess with me. So, yeah, it blew my mind having that happen. Anyways, and yeah, it's in real time, and like I said, they can manipulate anything in real time. Audio and video at the same time. That's kind of ties into the deep fake thing. But that they can utilize this technology that they have now with and just doing this to average people. I'm a housewife. It's it's too much.
They need housewives. They need everybody because they have to have different people to get a different reaction, so they can have a variety of profiles that they can use as a template on others.
Yeah, my reaction is generally no reaction to other people, because I immediately was like, okay, well, I don't know who is being forced into their behavior. So, I was like, I'm not going to mess with anybody because, for all I know, they're being manipulated, and I hold that. That's how I handle situations. I'm just like, I don't know if this person's being pushed or manipulated, so I'm not going to react other than kindly and with kindness and generosity, like I usually always have. So that I just keep going with, is be kind to other people.
Cool. Did anyone have a question for Heather?
Hello. It's Laura from Colorado. I don't know why I'm echoing. Make it quick. I loved your poetry. I loved your love poem, Soldiers of a Different Kind. That's
Thank you.
Amazing.
If you want to read the whole thing, you can see it on my Twitter page. It's posted up, Heather Newbigin.
All right. Also, thank you for sharing about how people are treated in the
You're welcome.
Psychiatric units and psychiatric places. That's happening a lot, and I just appreciate your testimony. Thank you.
You're welcome, and they do that to people in prisons too. It's not just people in mental institutions, because prisoners and people in jail have the same issue. No one believes them.
Exactly.
It's a sad fact of our reality right now.
Yeah, and this technology's been around for 70 years.
Yeah, it really makes you think twice about the people that are running around on the streets with the end is near, and paranoid schizophrenia probably altogether.
Yeah, they pulled that schizophrenia thing on me at the clinic, and my regular psychiatrist, which I see for depression, said it's bogus and ignore it. But how can you ignore something like that?
Yeah, I saw a psychiatrist once when I was 16, And she tried to hypnotize me, and I just started giggling and looked at her and went, people actually fall for this? And she started crying. And she fired me.
Oh, no.
I swear to God.
I've been going to a psychiatrist right near Jax's house for several years. Right down the street from Jax's home.
Oh, wow.
Psychiatry, I have problems with psychiatrists because usually they're far more crazy than their patients.
Yeah.
They enter psychiatry as a field usually because someone in their family or themselves is already having problems. And so they're trying to solve their own isches. I
just go there for the pills. I like the pills. That's the only reason I go.
I read Psych 101 when I was in community college at 18. My friend was in it, and I was like, hey, let me read that. And I was like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing here. And with psychiatry, you see more and more categories get added. And, it's good to have someone to talk to that'll listen and, not react. But the best way is for someone not to go, okay, well, you're crazy, and that's where psychiatry fails, psychology fails, is by immediately labeling the person, and putting them in a box,
by the DSM, they use the DSM to diagnose you,
Yeah,
DSM's
and
a crock.
It doesn't help the situation because then it just makes the person not be able to really figure out a way to break out of that. They don't help. It's like any kind of thing with that. The pharmaceutical industry, they don't make money off of making people healthy and well. They make money.
Yeah, and it also has to do with socioeconomic conditions because I'm depressed in Los Altos. In Los Altos, I'm depressed, and in Stockton, I'm schizophrenic.
Yes, exactly that. And, who is it? You wouldn't be a normal person if the world didn't get depressing on occasion, and if it didn't depress you that the world is such a shithole.
Amen.
Yeah, so, and it's all set up that way. News is always bad. It's always sad, bad news, and it's set up that way to make people upset. I found, prior to all of this, I found meditation, and it saved me from a lot of issues. I had a lot of problems with projecting my own anger onto other people, and it was right about that point when I was like, okay, the only thing I can actually control is my reaction, and how I react to situations. Now, and recognizing when I was projecting as soon as it started and going, okay, why am I getting upset about this subject or at this person? Am I really mad at their behavior, or am I mad about something inside myself? And, I found that was a key to getting rid of a lot of my anger that I had pent up. And, it helps. It helps greatly.
Great. Does anyone have any more questions for Heather? Because we're going to end this interview and switch to TI Book Club mode. So you can stay here, Heather.
Hi,
and
Heather.
Thank you for the interview. Come on in with a question.
It's me, Katie Peterson. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Katie.
Hi, I just wanted to say thank you for your testimony. It's very much in line as so many of us have gone through. And I really appreciated listening to you. I am a former journalist, writer, poet, very gifted, talented writer, write music lyrics, and everything's been stolen.
What up?
Yeah,
same here.
So
same here.
every single personal word of mine has been stolen.
Oh yeah, they do that.
So it was really So it's very nice to hear that you still have pieces that even from the age of 16 you wrote. So thank you.
Oh yeah, I've got a whole book like from 14 on. I kept all handwritten. Can't put it. I have never put it on the computer. And I didn't. I didn't
had all
bother
that.
to memorize them all.
Yeah, as a writer, you write. It's important to pen to paper. It helps with your brain and everything.
Oh yeah,
And, and I
it's
wrote
cathartic.
every day, and it's
Yeah.
every single thing that I've ever written. Every
And,
journal, everything is gone.
Katie, I see you, and I understand how that feels to have it, have your head messed with, especially when you're someone who's spiritual and someone who is artistic. It's very difficult, to push through and to feel like you're yourself, and that it's your words and that it's you. So it's hard. So I understand.
Yeah.
You're not alone on that.
Never stop writing. I'm not allowed to write.
That's how I feel about it.
I'm in the human enslavement program, and I'm human trafficked in over 20 countries. So if I begin to start writing anything that I'm passionate about, they attack my eyes to try to blind me, or they try to stop my heart.
I've had the eye thing. I've had the eye thing when I've been writing or doing certain things, especially if I have to fill out any forms or anything that's important. Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Like
if I get
meditation.
on a computer, a tablet.
Oh, yeah. That's my biggest thing, though, is the not being able to meditate. I've even had them stop me from praying, like make me forget the last verse of the Lord's Prayer, things like that. Just evil.
Mine like to act out and show off in churches with all the holograms and the microwave technology like today.
I think you two should be connected on the email. Do you two want to exchange emails?
Oh, yeah.
You can go through me. I'll do it. I'll take care of it.
Oh,
it's nice chatting with you, Heather. We'll chat
nice
more.
To talk to you too.
Thank you for the testimony.
Yeah, we always every time we have a call, we end up having more friends join us. This is great, Heather.
Good.
Thank you for your call or your testimony. It turned out really well. It's going to be recorded. It's recorded actually, and will be on all your top platforms.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to tell my story and to connect with some more people. And I loved answering the questions. If you ever want to talk to me again, just let me know.
Cool. Thank you. Now we're switching over to a Twitter poll that I gave, and the question was, do you think it is better to cope or hope, or both? 7.9% said cope only. 21% said hope the targeting ends, and cope and hope got 71% on Twitter.
That's the one I would have went with.
Isn't that cool? I put that there a couple days ago.
Of course, I didn't get to see it.
I hid it from you.
Okay, then I'm happy. That's okay then.
No, I didn't hide it from you. It's there.
I know.
But it just quit. It's done. It disappeared. And now to the TI Book Club, I am pleased to announce that Jax and Laura have joined Tranquility and I for the TI Book Club. The current read right now is Disrupt, Discredit, and Divide. How the FBI, the new FBI, Damages Democracy by Mike German. He's a ex-FBI agent that gives away the secrets on how messed up the FBI really is. So don't be scared of them, because they are a mess. It's a good book to read. It's a tell-all book about the FBI.
I call them the Federal Bureau of Instigation.
That's what I call them.
I also call them setups for us.
Well, they set so many people up for crimes. They set up a guy that was mentally, or I don't say retarded, but challenged, and got him to do stuff. They'll look for anybody, and they use paid informants that are criminals. They infiltrated BLM, and they had a guy there with guns. Trying to infiltrate.
Not all FBI agents are bad. It's just
no, they're not, but some of it is.
The institution itself is corrupt, and it has been.
They never had according to the book, they never had a real mission or goal. They've never established one since they were the Department of Investigations, the DOI. They never established a reason why the FBI is here. They've never defined that.
It started during Prohibition. That's how
it actually started as a guy named, I can't remember, started it in 1912, and he got Roosevelt behind it. And then they changed the name during Prohibition to FBI, and that's when there was a whole bunch of bombings going on. They even had a push cart with a horse blow up the J.P. Morgan building.
Oh,
the terrorists back then.
Wow.
That's Timothy McVeigh on a horse cart.
Oh my God, I learn something new every day. I'm not happy unless I learn something new.
Yeah, and this crazy group of people are still unorganized, and they go after each other. It's amazing. The book details about the in-house fighting. Even if you go against the management, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I think that's probably what creates the problem at the FBI is that, people get power trip. They do. They power trip. And people want to, the guys that are staff, they want to keep their jobs, so they go along to get along. And, that's a slippery slope. It really is. And, next thing you know, they're being dragged into crazy crap. And, then they're probably scared to...
They don't want to lose their pensions,
Yeah, well, they're probably scared of a lot of stuff. They don't want to get in trouble. They don't, so they just keep going.
They put them in jail. I mean, it's scary what they do to each other. So anyway, that's the end of the book club session, and we'll be ending the recording in 4 minutes. Anybody want to? If you're watching me on BitChute, YouTube, or archive.org, please like, subscribe, and make a comment. Tell your friends about our channel. It's growing fast. We have over 100 to 150 people every Sunday. So please, if you're on your favorite platform, give a like, please, and subscribe. Thank you.
Hi there, DJ.
Hello, Ann from St. Louis. Can you come in with your information right now?
Absolutely. Hello. First of all, I want to say hello to Heather.
Hi, Ann.
I'm listening to your story. I'm the V2K warrior. I have been in this program for 50 years. I'm 50 years old. My family and I were selected due to the fact we didn't have a lot of money or education, so they thought 2.5 a year. And I was born with retinitis pigmentosa in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So right there, that's the military. I hear there's a lot of Masons up in that area, but I digress.
Right.
Love helping people. I moved out here to St. Louis almost 10 years ago. I'm currently living in a hotel due to gentrification, which is happening quite a lot. They're trying to do anything they can to force
people on the street,
populations out in the street for money.
Yep.
They just want the money. I mean, so I had to fight an epic battle. So I've been living in this hotel for almost 6 months. So I wanted to give my contact information and reach out to others. I'm a great listener and have a lot of experience with the world of disability. And I'm a V2K warrior and low-income specialist. So here we go. 314-325-22394. Call or text anytime. Don't worry about waking me up because it has Do Not Disturb on there. So I just wanted to let you know that you're a very courageous woman to step up and
Thank you.
And reach out. You're very, very strong. And what happened to you was absolutely not your fault. Absolutely not your fault at all. All right, be well. Thank you, Chris, for having the show and letting us have an opportunity to come together and come to a workable solution for all of us.
Agreed.
Thank you, Ann, for your sharing, and call Ann if you want to have a talk, and she's available during the day.
Can you shoot me that information, Chris?
Go ahead and give your phone number one more time, Ann.
Hold on, let me get a pen.
Okay, she's going to get her a pen.
Yeah, because I don't have my pencil on me right now. Oh, good. Old chair. All right, 312.
No, 314, because I'm in St. Louis.
Oh, 314, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. 325 2394. I just wanted to let people know that there's all kinds of services where you can get like a free phone number. It's great to have if you have a side hustle or you want to network with other people without having to go to the expense of putting in an extra line, or you don't want to give out your work number or personal at-home number. And at least when you know when this number rings, why it is.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you, Ann. Thank you, Heather. We're going to go ahead and end this recording, but the call's going to continue going. Thank you for watching on your video platform.